Dinosaurs were among the most extraordinary creatures ever to walk the Earth, dominating the planet's terrestrial ecosystems for over 160 million years. These ancient reptiles thrived during the Mesozoic era, a geological span that includes the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. From towering plant-eating giants like Brachiosaurus to agile predatory species like Velociraptor, dinosaurs evolved into a vast array of forms, sizes, and ecological roles. Their fossilized remains have been unearthed on every continent, revealing a complex and dynamic chapter in Earth's evolutionary history. One of the most effective and scientifically grounded ways to classify dinosaurs is by the geologic time period in which they lived. Dinosaurs dominated the Earth's terrestrial ecosystems during the Mesozoic era, a span of approximately 186 million years that is divided into three major periods: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. Each period witnessed distinct evolutionary advancements, environmental changes, and the emergence of unique dinosaur species that reflected adaptations to their respective ecosystems. 1. The Triassic period, 251 million years ago. The Triassic period marked the dawn of the dinosaurs, emerging shortly after the Earth's greatest mass extinction event that wiped out nearly 90% of all species. During this time, the planet was dominated by the supercontinent Pangaea, which created vast, arid inland deserts. The climate was hot and dry, with little geographic variation. Early dinosaurs during the Triassic were generally small and lightly built. They lived alongside other dominant reptilian groups, such as Rauisuchians and early crocodile relatives. Among the first known dinosaurs were species such as Eoraptor, Herrerasaurus, Coelophysis, and Plateosaurus. Eoraptor was a small, agile dinosaur that walked on two legs and had a lightweight, slender build. It measured about 1 meter, 3.3 feet long, stood roughly half a meter tall, and weighed around 10 to 15 kilograms, 20 to 33 pounds. Its body was balanced by a long tail, and it had a narrow head with large eyes, suggesting keen vision, likely useful for hunting. Eoraptor's limbs were well adapted for speed. Its hind legs were long and strong, while its forelimbs were shorter but had 5 fingers, 2 of which bore sharp claws that may have helped in grasping prey. Its teeth were small, pointed, and varied. Some were curved and serrated like those of a carnivore, while others were more leaf-shaped, suggesting the dinosaur may have eaten both meat and plants. This combination has led scientists to believe Eoraptor was likely an omnivore, feeding on small animals, insects, and possibly soft vegetation. Its overall appearance and diet reflect its position as one of the earliest and most primitive dinosaurs, still transitioning between more generalized reptilian traits and the specialized features seen in later dinosaur groups. Herrerasaurus was a fast, agile predator that lived during the late Triassic period, around 231 million years ago, in what is now Argentina. It was one of the earliest large carnivorous dinosaurs, measuring about 3 to 6 meters, 10 to 20 feet in length, and weighing between 250 to 350 kilograms, 550 to 770 pounds. Herrerasaurus had a long, slender body, powerful hind legs for rapid movement, and a long tail that helped it balance while running. Its forelimbs were shorter but muscular, ending in 3 sharp claws, ideal for grasping and tearing prey. The head was narrow and elongated, with strong jaws lined with the sharp serrated teeth, perfect for slicing flesh. Herrerasaurus also had flexible joints in its lower jaw, allowing it to grip struggling prey more effectively. As a carnivore, it primarily hunted small to medium-sized animals, including early reptiles and other proto-dinosaurs. Its body design and tooth structure clearly identify it as an active predator, making Herrerasaurus one of the top hunters of its time and a key species in understanding the early evolution of theropod dinosaurs. Coelophysis was a small, slender, and fast-moving dinosaur that lived around 210 million years ago during the late Triassic period. It measured about 2 to 3 meters, 6.5 to 10 feet in length, and had a lightweight bipedal build with long hind legs for running and a long tail for balance. Its head was narrow and elongated, with large eyes and sharp, curved teeth, features that suited its role as a predator. Coelophysis likely hunted small animals such as reptiles, amphibians, and insects, and fossil evidence suggests it may have occasionally engaged in cannibalism by eating smaller members of its own species. Agile and alert, it was one of the earliest known theropods, representing a key step in the evolutions of later meat-eating dinosaurs. Plateosaurus was a large, plant-eating dinosaur from the late Triassic period, growing up to 10 meters long. It had a long neck, strong back legs for walking, and shorter front limbs with clawed hands. Its leaf-shaped teeth were ideal for eating plants like ferns and conifers. Plateosaurus likely used its long neck to feed on vegetation at different heights and is considered an early relative of the giant sauropods that came later. These early forms laid the foundation for later diversification, though they had not yet achieved ecological dominance. By the end of the Triassic, dinosaurs began to rise in prominence as competitors and many other reptile groups declined. 2. The Jurassic period, 145 million years ago. The Jurassic period witnessed the rapid diversification and dominance of dinosaurs across the globe. This era followed the breakup of Pangaea into 2 massive continents, Laurasia in the north and Gondwana in the south, which led to regional variation in climate and ecosystems. The Earth's environment became more humid and lusher, allowing forests to flourish and supporting an explosion in dinosaur diversity. Iconic species from this period include Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, and Dilophosaurus. Stegosaurus was a large plant-eating dinosaur that lived during the late Jurassic period. It measured around 9 meters, 30 feet in length, and had a small head, short forelimbs, and a large arched back. Its most distinctive features were the 2 rows of large, upright plates along its spine and the spiked tail, Thagomizer, used for defense. As a herbivore, it fed on low-growing plants like ferns and cycads, using its small peg-like teeth to strip vegetation. Allosaurus was a fierce, carnivorous predator from the late Jurassic, growing up to 10 meters, 33 feet long. It had a massive skull with sharp, serrated teeth, strong hind limbs, and short but powerful forearms with 3-fingered claws. Its agile body and strong bite made it a top predator, likely hunting large herbivores like Stegosaurus or scavenging when possible. Brachiosaurus was one of the tallest dinosaurs, easily recognized by its long neck and front legs that were longer than its back legs, giving it a giraffe-like posture. It lived in the late Jurassic and could reach lengths of up to 25 meters, 82 feet. As a herbivore, it fed on high tree foliage, such as conifers, using its long neck to reach vegetation far above ground level. Apatosaurus was a massive, long-necked, herbivorous dinosaur from the late Jurassic, growing up to 23 meters, 75 feet in length. It had a long whip-like tail and pillar-like legs, with a relatively small head. Apatosaurus likely fed on mid to low-level plants, using its peg-like teeth to strip leaves from branches, and relying on sheer size for protection from predators. Dilophosaurus was a slender, bipedal carnivore from the early Jurassic, about 6 meters, 20 feet long. It had a lightweight body, long tail, and is best known for the pair of arched crests on its head. Its jaws were filled with sharp teeth, and it likely preyed on small to medium-sized animals. Though often depicted with a frill and venom in movies, there is scientific evidence to support those features. The Jurassic was especially notable for the rise of massive sauropods, long-necked herbivores that dominated landscapes with their immense size, and the evolution of large theropod predators that hunted them. Dinosaurs were now the undisputed rulers of the land, adapting to a variety of ecological roles, ranging from high-browsing herbivores to swift predators. 3. The Cretaceous period, 145 to 6 million years ago. The final and perhaps most dynamic period of the Mesozoic era was the Cretaceous. By this time, dinosaurs had reached their peak in terms of diversity and geographic distribution. The continents continued to drift apart, creating new coastlines, isolated landmasses, and varied climates. One of the most important evolutionary developments during this period was the rise of flowering plants, angiosperms, which altered plant-dinosaur interactions and feeding behaviors. The Cretaceous featured some of the most well-known dinosaurs in popular culture and science, including Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, Spinosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and Hadrosaurus. Tyrannosaurus rex was one of the largest and most powerful carnivorous dinosaurs living during the late Cretaceous period. It measured up to 12 meters, 40 feet, long, and stood about 4 meters, 13 feet, tall at the hips. T-Rex had massive jaws lined with large banana-shaped teeth, a huge skull, and strong hind legs built for walking and running. Despite its tiny, two-fingered arms, it was an apex predator and carnivore, feeding on large prey like hadrosaurs and possibly scavenging carcasses as well. Triceratops was a large herbivorous dinosaur known for its 3 facial horns and large bony frill at the back of its skull. It lived in the late Cretaceous and grew up to 9 meters, 30 feet in length. It had a stocky body, strong limbs, and a beak-like mouth with rows of grinding teeth, suited for chewing tough plants like ferns and cycads. Its horns and frill may have been used for defense against predators or in mating displays. Velociraptor was a small, fast, and intelligent carnivorous dinosaur from the late Cretaceous. It measured about 2 meters, 6.5 feet, long, and stood around 0.5 meters, 1.6 feet, tall at the hip. It had a slender body, long tail, and a curved, sickle-shaped claw on each foot. Covered in feathers, Velociraptor likely hunted small prey and may have used pack tactics, though it was much smaller than often portrayed in movies. Spinosaurus was one of the largest known carnivorous dinosaurs, possibly reaching over 15 meters, 50 feet, in length. It lived during the mid-Cretaceous and is famous for its large, sail-like structure on its back formed by elongated vertebrae. It had a sunk crocodile-like snout with conical teeth and likely fed on fish and aquatic prey, making it a semi-aquatic carnivore. Its long arms with large claws suggest it could also hunt on land when needed. Ankylosaurus was a heavily armored herbivore from the late Cretaceous, growing up to 8 meters, 26 feet long. Its body was covered in bony plates and spikes, and it had a powerful club-like tail for defense against predators. With a low, broad body and small leaf-shaped teeth, Ankylosaurus fed on low-lying vegetation such as ferns, using its strong jaw to grind tough plant material. Hadrosaurus was a medium to large herbivorous dinosaur from the late Cretaceous, known as a member of the duck-billed dinosaurs or hadrosaurs. It measured around 7 to 10 meters, 23 to 33 feet in length, and had a flat, beak-like snout used for cropping vegetation. It likely moved on both 2 and 4 legs, and had hundreds of tightly packed teeth for chewing tough, fibrous plants. Hadrosaurus lived in herds and may have used social behaviors to protect itself from predators. Advanced predators and armored herbivores coexisted alongside smaller, more agile species, many of which showed early signs of feather development. However, the Cretaceous also came to a dramatic end with the Cretaceous Paleogene, KPG, extinction event, caused most likely by a massive asteroid impact near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. This global catastrophe led to the extinction of all non-avian dinosaurs and ushered in a new era dominated by mammals and birds. While the extinction event at the end of the Cretaceous wiped out the majority of dinosaur lineages, it did not mark the end of dinosaurs entirely. A small group of the feathered theropods survived and continued to evolve, giving rise to modern birds. Today, birds are considered the only living descendants of dinosaurs, carrying forward traits such as hollow bones, nesting behavior, and even certain skeletal features. Their existence provides a living link to the ancient past and reinforces the evolutionary continuity between the age of reptiles and the modern world.